What's good, YouTube? It's Auston Holleman back with another interview. I have Travelversity right here.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
What's up, man? Travelversity. I have a YouTube channel. Full-time expat living in Thailand right now. I've lived in a few countries. Brazil, Colombia, DR for a while, like a year. I did Kenya, I did Uganda. Now I'm in Thailand, so I'm making content, educating people on traveling around and my daily life in Thailand.
So what brought you to Thailand and when did you come here?
So I came here on New Year's 2021. I got out here actually on my 29th birthday. Been out here since then. I've been out here for about 8 months. I did take a break to go to Africa. I've been out here almost the whole year. I don't know, man. Everywhere I went, like when I was living in Brazil, I would meet guys and they would be like, go to Thailand, like you definitely gotta try Thailand out. In Colombia, dudes are like, yeah, this is cool. You gotta go check out Thailand. I was like, let me do my research. I did some of that. Whenever they opened the country, I came out here, so I've been out here since then.
So it was shut down?
Yeah, they were shut down for a while. Heavy restrictions.
Oh, so you had to quarantine and all that when you came in here?
I came, so when they very first opened, they were hitting people with the quarantine and all that. I came where they like first officially opened to where you just had to be vaccinated. You had to quarantine one night. Once your test came back that you was good, they'll let you leave. It was like a one-night quarantine.
Would you say Thailand lived up to the hype that they said?
Yeah, I think so.
In what way?
I've been to a few cities. Depending on the city you talking about, it's different vibes. In Pattaya, for instance, party crazy, like Las Vegas on steroids. It's also a very peaceful country. Women are friendly, people are friendly, it's safe. So everything people said about it was definitely true. I definitely believe that everything that I was told was accurate for the most part.
What's your relationship status? Do you have any kids?
Yeah, I got a kid in the States. I got a son. Yeah, he 5. I had him when I was in the Army. He about to be a passport bro too. He about to get his passport. So
Oh, really?
I'm gonna start taking him like during the summer. I'm gonna just country hop with him. Now I go to the States like every 3 or 4 months and I get him for like a month. He gets to the age now where we're gonna be able to bounce around. I'm gonna be able to take him around, show him Europe. I wanna show him a lot of Asia.
So what did he think when you decided to move out the United States?
Well, I was in the Army when he was born, so I've always been kind of gone his
Yeah.
whole life because I was in the military. So he used to me being on the road already just from the beginning of him being alive.
And what the rest of your family think when you decided to move?
Shoot, I joined the Army when I was 18,
Oh,
so
so
they
yeah,
already used to me
yeah.
being gone. Like I've been out the crib since I was 18. I was in, my first duty station was in Korea, so I was stationed in South Korea when I was 18, 19. I was living in Hawaii. I was living far away from home in the States, like stationed in different places. So my people already used to me being gone. Like this is kind of normal to them at this point.
So compare Thailand to South Korea. Which one is better? But well, I guess obviously Thailand, right?
Yeah, so I think that, I like South Korea, but I think that Thailand is it seemed more liberated. In South Korea, they're a little bit more on the conservative side of things.
Really?
Whereas in Thailand, it seems like they're more liberated, more free. It's definitely more of a party environment in some of the spots where the expats go in Thailand. I didn't go to many cities in South Korea. I was in Seoul most of the time. From what I know, Seoul was a little bit more conservative. It didn't seem as fun as this for sure. And Korea is also more expensive than here too.
I've heard. So what exactly does it take to become an expat? Like what would you recommend somebody have in order before they decide to jump and just move out the country like I did?
I say have your finances straight. Make sure you have income coming in. Make sure you keep that US dollar. That's what I'll say. You want to have your US dollar coming in so you're able to take advantage of exchange rate.
Back to Thailand, where would you recommend? Where all in Thailand have you been?
Here, Pattaya, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket. That's it so far.
And where would you recommend somebody in their early 20s come to Thailand to visit?
I'll say if you're in your early 20s and you're looking to have fun, party, have a bunch of different women, come to Pattaya for sure. If you are trying to chill more, you're not really into partying that much, you just want more of a local vibe and you want to just kick it, I would say try Chiang Mai.
How much cheaper is it to eat and live in those somewhere like Chiang Mai as opposed to Pattaya?
They're both pretty cheap. Pattaya is surprisingly like still one of the cheaper cities where expats go. It's one of the cheaper cities in Thailand. Not that expensive, it's really the partying that adds up. I would say that in Chiang Mai you can eat for a couple dollars, $2, $1.50. Yeah, well, it's gonna depend on you and how much you eat. If you are okay eating 2 times, like 2 regular meals, you might spend $5 or $6 a day. if you're eating at local spots. Now, if you're gonna go to restaurants, all that type of stuff, your cost is gonna go up. But if you're eating the local Thai food, you're going to the local Thai stands, you're gonna spend way less. So it's gonna depend on, you know, your taste and how you wanna eat.
So what about somebody that's a little older, like in their 40s and 50s? Where would you recommend they be in Thailand?
I think it will be the same, man. Same as you younger guys. I think it'll be the same for the older guys, because if you're like a newly divorced guy or you're just getting retired and you want to have some fun, I would say try Pattaya. If you want to still have a little fun and you still want to, you know, some excitement, I would say try Pattaya. But if you want more of a chill, relaxed type of life to yourself and you're chilling like more of a local type of feel, I would say Phuket on the other side of the island where not many expats are, like a Chiang Mai.
So would you say it's oversaturated with expats here?
Well, you know, Pattaya was built by foreigners, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, so it started off out here with the soldiers from the war would come for R&R. I got all this information from a guy that was out here when it first started. He's an old guy. I think it was Vietnam.
Vietnam, okay.
So during Vietnam, they were getting R&R. You could either go to like, I don't know, you could either go to like one of the other countries like South Korea or Tokyo, or you could come here. And this was just a tiny fishing village. Like, there was really nobody here. So a lot of guys would just come here and just chill on the beach, fish. But then when so many started to come, you know, then the girls started to come and then ended up being what it is now.
Oh, wow.
So this city was kind of built with foreigners in mind.
Well, I didn't know that.
This is a city that's completely unique to anywhere else. Probably fine.
So what is the actual cost of living? Like, what are you living for here in Thailand?
It'll depend, man. I've done a couple cost of living videos. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Like, for me, I feel like I maybe spend $2,500 a month on everything, but that's going out, traveling. I still go to other places. Like I was saying, I was just in Chiang Mai for like 2 weeks. I was in Phuket. I still go out. That all adds into that. You can, if you're just kind of chilling and you're not really doing too much, you don't have to go out a lot, you don't really plan on doing much traveling, you're not shopping, buying clothes and stuff, then I think you could probably live for $1,500. You know, the thing is about like all the low cost of living and all that is, you gotta always have like emergencies too. Like, there's other things that can happen in your travels. So
Yeah.
I don't like to just be like, oh, you can live here off the very bare minimum, which technically you can, but you know, it's up to you if you're gonna feel comfortable living off that or not.
Yeah, I could see myself living here for like, what I've been doing this past week, I've been here maybe like $1,500 to $2,000. It costing me $2,500 for just necessary expenses before I had my shop to live back in the States, so
Right.
it's still a win.
Yeah.
$2,500 is going out a lot.
Yeah. And that's still pretty good because you from Dallas. Like, if you lived in a major city, you already know you're gonna spend more than that.
So is there a huge language barrier out here in Thailand?
No. Well, so the thing is, it's gonna depend on the city. Like in Pattaya, no, there's no language barrier. Almost everybody out here is gonna speak English. If not, I've ran into very few people in Pattaya that don't speak English. If you go to Phuket, most people speak English. If you go Chiang Mai, most people speak English. If you go to any other places where, you know, there is an expat community, a lot of the people around will speak English. Now, if you go to the outskirts, probably will. Anywhere you going as an expat, for the most part, if you going to Bangkok, like, a lot of people speak English out there. Like, you're not you're not gonna have much problem getting around with English. Like, I've never felt like, you know, I've never had an issue with anybody understanding what I'm saying or anything like that. Not in the tourist areas. Outside of that, possible.
So since you've been to a few cities in Thailand, what is the #1 place you say that tourists should visit Thailand?
Tourist period or male tourists?
Both.
I say tourist period. I would say Phuket because they got the islands out there. You can island hop. The beaches are beautiful. It's a cool place, man. It's nice island vibes, but it's city living too, kind of like a Rio. So I would say for tourists, definitely Phuket. I mean, it's like the #1 most visited place in Thailand. That explains why.
Wow.
Yeah, between there and Bangkok, they're like 2 of the top visited places in Thailand. So I would say Phuket. If you a male or a young man or an older guy that's newly single and you're not coming over here with your family and all that and you trying to have fun, come to Pattaya.
So what would you say crime is like in Thailand? Have you ever experienced any crime at all? Even pickpocketing, petty crimes?
No, I haven't experienced any crime. I think crime here is not that much going on. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't hear too much about crime. Not compared to some of the other places I lived in.
So you would say this is the safest place you've been to?
Yeah, this is definitely the safest place I've been to.
So what are some things that tourists should be aware of, should be on the lookout for in a negative?
I would say like there's certain little scams. It's gonna be the overpricing that you're probably gonna get in every country you go to. It's gonna be the little slight overpricing you for stuff, charging you double for what it really costs, especially if you haven't been here for a while, it's your first time. People gonna raise the price on you, but that's something that's gonna come with traveling. You have like, if you're gonna go to one of these beach cities like a Phuket or here or Hua Hin, you wanna avoid the jet skis. I mean, you can use them, but with the jet skis, they'll try to act like you messed it up.
Oh, yeah.
They try stuff like that. So you want to either check the jet ski, make video, all that. Just be cautious when you're doing stuff like that. But that's the only thing. I don't think it'll be anything of real danger. It'll be more of just people trying to get over on you, if anything.
So about the jet skis, how much money do they try to get out of you?
I've heard a lot. I stay away from them, but I've heard anything from $200 to $2,000.
U.S.
They trying to U.S.
Wow.
Like, oh, you messed this up. Oh, you messed this up. That's definitely a thing out here.
Wow, I didn't know they was hitting people for that much.
If you a guy, I would just say beware of like those online scams, like when you trying to pregame and all that before you get over here. You got people on those sites trying to get stuff out you. For the guys, I would say definitely be aware of like the online scams with the girls.
I mean, your place here doesn't seem too outdated, but would you say the infrastructure, most apartments is outdated like it is in Rio?
In Pattaya, like I was saying, like this is built for foreigners and it's built for tourism. They have really nice apartments here because a lot of people come here. It's a popular place. Well, I mean, Rio's popular too. It seems here they care a little more about people coming here. And Rio is like, it's a beautiful place, so they like, you gonna come just cause.
Yeah, I would agree with that because a lot of stuff in Rio is very, very, very outdated.
Yeah. Rio is like how I imagine it looked in Miami in like 1970 or 1980.
I've said that before. It looks
Yeah.
like 1980s Miami.
Rio was the first place and the only place so far that I've been to. I really felt uncomfortable in my Airbnb. Like I was like, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, it smelled like an old folks home.
So have you ever used the healthcare out here in Thailand?
No, I haven't had to use it yet, but I do know that it's ranked pretty high. Like it's ranked above the American healthcare. Because you know they have medical tourism, so a lot of people come to places like this for the cheap and really good healthcare. I haven't used it yet, but I do know and I have heard that it's really good.
So let's say I'm a man that's in my late 40s and I'm tired of dealing with women in the States and I'm looking for a wife. What are the chances and how long would it take a man around that age range to find a wife, you would say? If he's not, let's say he's only gonna party for the first month and then he's gonna get serious about who he's actually looking for.
I would say it's a high chance. It's a high chance. Like I tell you, you just gotta be more realistic on, you and where you stand and then what you're looking for. You will find somebody out here that is for you. Now, if you're gonna be an older guy and if you want a younger, more beautiful woman, you know what type of situation those usually are. But there are also women in Thailand who are in their mid-30s, who are in their 40s that are looking for husbands. They value marriage here for sure.
So why do you think those women are still in their 30s and 40s still looking for a husband?
I don't know, that's a good question. I mean,
because we know in the States why.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I really don't know.
There isn't enough supply of husbands?
Could be that. It could be the lack of resources that a lot of people have, and that's gonna reflect in the women that you see out in the dating market.
So what do you have to say to those women that think that coming overseas, we're just looking for slaves and other women to oppress because we can't oppress the women back home? Do you think it's oppressive to want a traditional woman?
No, definitely not. I mean, that's the problem. Like in the States, a lot of women want, like I seen a post and somebody said like the only thing y'all want to be traditional about a man is him paying for everything.
That's it.
You don't want anything else, because think about it.
They just want the benefit.
Exactly, because think about it. You can't say you want a traditional man if you don't agree with anything that most of the traditional men are saying. Yeah, that's a stateside mentality. Like women overseas are never gonna look at taking care of their family as as being a slave. Like, I think in the States, a lot of the time, it's an attitude of selfishness. Like, she thinking about her, like, I don't want to be a slave. But you're not thinking about the fact that when you're cooking, you're cleaning, like, you're doing that for your whole family, you know? That's not slavery. That's just being a mother and being a wife.
Being an adult.
Exactly. You're not going to hear a lot of women overseas saying stuff like that. But like we just said, like, it's a culture thing, man. It's a culture thing. That's why I was saying, in the States, like, I've had some okay women. I had some good women. But even the best ones, they really don't compare to much overseas. They really don't compare to much overseas because it's always going to be a mental block to where they feel like if they do too much for you, they're a slave. Cook too much, they're a slave. Or you got to help them so they feel like they not doing everything by themselves.
Yeah, which is absolutely ridiculous and lazy. Super victim mentality and all that. Yeah, it's everything bad.
Yeah, nah. The States are done.
Oh, it's done. It's not good. Nobody in their right mind. That's why when I have that term, it's that bad, and people are like, oh, it's not as bad as you make it seem. Do you think it's that good?
States, and it's just getting worse. Like, it's only gonna get worse.
What would you say to somebody that's watching this content that's 18 years old, about to graduate high school? Do you think they should become a passport bro, or should they fail a couple times in the States first and then become a passport bro?
Man, I would say if you have the ability to become a passport bro, then you should do it as early as possible. I understand that a lot of people also, I understand it's not realistic for a lot of people to just be that young and pack up and move. If you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, join the Army and do it. Or the Navy, or join the military.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
Join the military. That's why I joined. I'm trying to find a way where I can get paid and not be here at the same time. I suggest the military. If you could find you a remote job, I know at 18 that might be hard for you because you're gonna have a lot of competition. But if you can find any type of job to where you don't have to report into work, you don't have to go clock in physically somewhere and you can still make money, definitely. Because you'll cut your costs dramatically living overseas.
Now, what demographic or what race of men would you say is the biggest passport bro? Would you say it's black men, white men, Hispanic men? Who do you think has the most expats and men that are choosing to get foreign wives?
I was definitely white man.
White man?
Yeah, for sure. Black men, we are such a small, I don't even think people understand how small of a percent of people that's actually being expats the black man is. Mm-hmm. It's very few. I'm not sure. I think really it's just sheer numbers because it's what, 40 million black people in America, roughly 19 million of that is black men. Then you got to think about the ones that are of age to travel, that are not locked up, that are, have the financial ability to travel. It's going to drop the number all the way down. So we are already a small percentage of the population, period, just off demographic. We even a smaller number of people overseas that are actually traveling. I saw something that said only 20 or 30% of all black American people even have their passport. So,
wow.
Mostly the white guys, but they've been doing this since the beginning of time, and it's always been okay for them.
Why do you think that black men get the most heat?
Because we come from a society that thinks backwards most of the time about stuff. And we have a mentality where it's like, if I'm not doing it, then you shouldn't be doing it. This is one of those we come from a community where it's like we like to pull each other down.
This is why I don't mind talking shit about American women online. And it's just a thought that went through my head when I asked you that. When I first came back from Brazil, man, the first time back in February this year, 2022, there I had a client in the chair. They wanted to know about my trip, and I was like, I went down there to meet women.
Right.
I was like, man, I'm done dating in the States.
Yeah.
And I didn't even say, oh, because the women here ain't shit. I was like, man, I'm done dating in the States. I had so much of a good time. This happened, that happened, and their whole mood changed. Like, oh. And they were like, you sound bitter. And I'm like, bitter about what? Because I told you I had a good fucking time. And I'm like, that's when I realized they're gonna talk shit if I talk shit about them or not.
Right.
So I'm gonna talk shit about you.
Right. You notice how you'll see something and people will say like, oh, it's cool if you do that, just, you know, don't bash us.
Just don't tell nobody.
Or they'll say like, you know, you could do whatever you want. You could date another, a girl from another country or a woman from another country, but oh, just don't talk negative about, you know, us. No, and it's like, you could talk about something and not even say anything about them, and it's still gonna be a problem.
I can compare. Ain't nothing wrong with comparing. They call it constructive criticism.
Exactly. But you know, you're not allowed to compare because your mama black.
She the one that dropped me off at the airport.
Have you always seen shift in what's going on in the dating market? Like, when did you start noticing bad out here?
2020. 2020 is when I started to notice out of my last relationship that I tried to date, man, it was like a circus.
Did you ever date any women older than you?
The last oldest chick I had was 39. I wasn't taking her serious. That's gonna wrap that up.
Yes, sir, man.
Go ahead and shout your channel out again.
And you guys go follow the channel, Travelversity. We growing, man. I got an interview with Auston coming up. We got a live stream on there as well. I also got information about here, Brazil, Colombia, all that on the channel as well, man. Appreciate you cutting me up.
Appreciate you.
And yeah, man, y'all go subscribe.
Sir, and I appreciate y'all coming through. I'll see you on the next video.